This Pitch Breakfast video is brought to you by Spangler & Agins, attorneys for Charlotte's startup community.
My name is Kate Reck. This is my husband and business partner, Bryce. We're here on behalf of our company, Ollie Gray. Let me move over just a little bit. Ollie Gray is the only athleisure-inspired maternity, pumping, and sports bra on the market. Simply put, we are the Lululemon of maternity bras. So giving you a little bit of backdrop on what that means, especially for all the men in the audience, is when moms give birth to new babies, they are presented with 3 options to feed the baby. They can either formula feed, breastfeed, or they can pump and bottle feed. So for anybody who's breastfeeding or pumping and bottle feeding, they're going to need a bra. So a little bit of backdrop about us. I'm an attorney by trade. 6 years ago, we had our first child, Laughlin, and I had to go back to work just a week postpartum with a little baby in tote with me. So that meant that I was pumping on the go and had a very busy and very hectic lifestyle. The problem was that there simply was just not a bra that was meant for the modern day mom that could be worn from when you get up in the morning to making it through, getting to work, working out after work, coming back, making dinner, getting the little one ready, getting everything so you can do it all over the next day again. There just wasn't anything on the market. So fast forward a couple more years, we had our second child, Olivia Gray, and we assumed at the time certainly something would have come out between the first child and the second child, that somebody has fixed this problem, but they hadn't. And hence the birth of Ollie Gray, the Anywhere bra. And so this is our bra that you can see in our lovely mannequin. A little bit about the bra. It's the first athleisure-inspired pumping, maternity, and breastfeeding bra. It perfectly marries style, function, and comfort. We've made it so it's so comfortable it's intended to stay in your wardrobe forever. As you can see on the bra, a couple things just to note. It is anti-wicking, antimicrobial. For anybody who has ever breastfed, you can empathize with that, and so it eliminates the problem of leakage. You'll see at the top it does have an easy release clasp that is made so that one can easily breastfeed their baby. The back is made so it can either be a traditional bra style or it can be made cross back. Just a matter of changing the straps. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Bryce.
So you're probably asking yourself, what type of market is there for this? And it's actually a large market, an inviting market. When we look at the maternity world, it's roughly a $2 billion business right now. Forbes actually ranked pumping in general to rise to $1.2 billion by 2020. And then if you pair that with the athleisure market, which a lot of moms who are pregnant or having babies are just going and buying Lululemon because there's not an athleisure maternity wear option on the market, which is a $44 billion business. When you look at actually who's using these products, you've got, in 2015, 3.2 million babies born in the year. 82% of those babies were breastfed, and 2 million of those were actually breastfed and also pumped as well. So definitely a much needed product. When we started the company, design was obviously at the forefront of kind of our foundation. So we went out and we found a great partner, Kara Sumpton. She actually worked with Lululemon for about 10 years. We stole her away. She lives in Vancouver currently. And Kate and myself obviously are very entrenched in the business itself. As we kind of transition to what sets us apart, besides kind of our team, and I'll get a little bit more of our team as well, we wanted to focus on a product that wasn't available, obviously, and was filling a void. And so not only was the functionality not in the marketplace, but to make a woman feel great wearing it was actually not there either. So we went with fashionable prints, creative designs, And then we also wanted to build a company that, although we're a startup, we don't appear to be. So we've got a fully integrated e-commerce platform. We're actually manufacturing overseas in a high-volume manufacturing facility. And we've got distribution here locally that is already shipping to big box retailers and is capable of drop shipping direct to customers as well too, which is what we're currently doing. And we got the timer here. I've got one more quick slide. So you're asking yourself, what have you guys done thus far? So we went into business last October. We did a Kickstarter campaign where we were 330% funded. The response was so exciting that we actually forced us to launch a pre-order website where we continue to take pre-orders while we were in production. This led to our launch in April, which you can see. We essentially sold out in 30 days, which were forced with a good problem, but it was a problem indeed. Our bra sales have reached all 50 states in the U.S. We've sold over 4,000 units, and our return rate is about 8%, which industry average is 30%. And this is all to be said that it's been done with zero advertising. It's all been word of mouth at this point, besides our own social media platforms. We've had a lot of celebrity endorsements, but for the most part, that's just celebrities that have seen us, requested a bra, or we reached out to them and said, hey, you got a baby, try our bra out. And they've organically said, sure. And it's really easy to find celebrities that have babies, surprisingly. Fast forward to July, we had one of our best sales days. We did 10,000 in sales in one day. And we look to raise some capital here, essentially a Series A capital raise, because we've got other products that we'd like to start building out, pants, privacy cloths, which you see here actually come with every bra, and we actually would like to create an advertising campaign. So we'd like to expand, even though we're in all 50 states in sales, we'd like to actually formalize an advertising platform to get that name out there a little bit better. So.
All right, panelists, what do y'all think?
Thanks for your time.
Let the man go first.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. I thought both of you spoke very well, and I thought your transition between speakers was good. It's always hard when you have multiple speakers, so you guys did that pretty well. On the downside, I couldn't read your slides. The text was way too small for this type of screen and this type of environment, so you might want to adjust your presentation depending on the room. That would probably work very well on a piece of paper, but in a room like this, I couldn't read much of it. You didn't talk at all about your competitors, and there are some very large companies out there in this space. What would keep them from just crushing you?
Yeah, good question. So we've got some patent pending on design for the bra itself. Apparel is really tough in general to patent. You can't patent a sweater. I guess if you were to put like speakers in it or something, you could, the speaker aspect of it. But it's hard to patent clothing. So we do have some design components on the bra that are patentable. It wouldn't, they could probably try to mirror it and come up with something similar. But there's certainly, from a competitor standpoint, surprisingly, there isn't competitors that really are doing this particular type of bra. There are the Modelas of the world and the Bravados that are doing a nursing bra or a pumping bra, and there are a couple two-in-ones, but for the most part, they're mostly more traditional. So this is built for the woman who's going to the courtroom, and if she wants to leave the courtroom and run a marathon, she can do that in this bra, and there's certainly nobody doing that yet.
So, I don't know if this is, it is on?
Yes.
Oh, okay, like this. We didn't really get to see your financials. Where are you guys right now, and have you bootstrapped to date? It looks like you did a Kickstarter campaign. I would also just share what you raised.
Sure.
Be a little bit more transparent on the financial side of things.
Gotcha, yeah. I think it was on there for $33,000, which you said, sorry, it's small to read.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we bootstrapped it for the most part at this point. We do have one investor that invested pre-concept, essentially, pre-Kickstarter, pre-production, pre-prototype. But at this point, sales have been coming in at a steady pace where it's been able to fund it up to this point. So now we need to actually scale to where we can buy in large volumes, which then open the doors to retailers. And we have retailers that are interested. We've turned down a lot of retailers at a price point right now for our product, which we do run a 60% margin on the bra itself. But still, at you know, our biggest purchase order up to this point has been 10,000 units. And really, we need to probably be in the 100,000 plus units to really make sense to go to retail if we were to choose to do that.
I mean, I think the true B2C play, you're going to need some serious money, you know, to do a...
Yeah, I mean, it's very cash front focused, right? So you gotta, I mean, we've got pretty good terms with our manufacturer, but at the same time, we need to have sales pouring in to then reinvest. And every dollar obviously brought in has been reinvested thus far.
And what's your background?
My background is in brand management, so marketing and business operations.
So you mentioned that you're after a Series A, but you didn't say how much it was. So if you're pitching to investors, you need to get that. Series A, how much is it? How much of the company is it going to be? Are you going to be giving up for that?
Gotcha. No, it makes sense. And we have a kind of a blanket answer, but we haven't gone after investors at this point because we certainly want an investor group, an investor, individual that can add value to the company. We weren't in apparel before this, so we've certainly over 2.5 years have learned and grown as much as we can. So the number, although I'm sure this is what investors don't hear, fluctuates a little bit based on the value that the investor brings. So we'd be willing to negotiate down if it's actually bringing, filling a void that we see that we're going to need in the future.
So you can get around that way. You have your investment terms, which you'll need to lock up. And then if there's somebody who's really strategic, you can do, technically, you can do advisory shares, there's something you can do there.
Yeah.
But you're going to want to lock that in because until you understand how much cash you do need, and given that you do have to buy up front before you outlay those sales, you're certainly having that direct-to-consumer relationship so you can control the price down, which that also will change relative to retail. So I think you're going to make that play. Are you going the retail play or are you going direct-to-consumer? And the only thing I would just be cautious of is you're saying the Series A is you want to get into other products and some advertising. My advice to you is keep with your product, nail it. Even do some that. I think that investors are going to want to see specific marketing plans, advertising plans in terms of what you're going to want to do.
Right.
And so I think it's great actually that you're getting celebrity endorsements, and the whole blogging model is very much a marketing channel. There are ROIs on that. Again, it can trickle in later, but you're in a market where you can have multiple maternity bras. So the barrier to entry for somebody to try it or to have that and something else and then to be your endorsement is pretty low.
Yeah.
So I just think that you'll want to really be thoughtful when you do go to get your Series A, that you're very, very specific about what you're going to use that for.
Yeah, the Series A has been kind of focused around like a version 2.0 that comes out here by the end of the year, which has just been a culmination of all the feedback we've gotten. And so it's been, we've been hesitant to go too hard advertising and all the organic things you're saying with blogs and everything. That's really kind of what we've been hustling on as hard as we can. But I agree.
Yeah. And then on the size of market slide,
which one?
The size of market slide. I think that ultimately, again, based on the format that you're doing, I think in this format, what you did was great. We got to know you, the story, I love it. But again, if you're pitching to an investor, you might want to start with this slide. Because you get to what is, where are you playing? You're playing in that athleisure, maternity. It's a little nuance when you say you're the Lululemon of maternity. I don't like that because it basically gives away like your brand, like your athleisure meets maternity. And I think that's fine, just from a positioning standpoint. And then when you get to who's on your board or who's part of your management team, you have the Lululemon. But I think that again, don't, just this is where you are, this is where you're playing. Incorporate a little bit more of that, who else is in the market? Because there are other, and then what are their price points?
Sure.
So if you're playing at the upper market, and if there is somebody that is in this market, even if they're different, put them on the slide. Because again, it's you'd be better to be transparent, to Terry's point.
Makes sense.
Y'all have anything else?
So you do have some big box retailer clients right now?
We've had a lot of interest, and we're actually producing so our bra comes with a privacy cloth as well, which is anti-everything, kind of goes around the neck for privacy and for leakage or anything that may happen. And Bye Baby right now we're in talks with that we're producing packaging to sell just the privacy cloth. And then once we can kind of get in there, because the privacy cloth is really easy, manageable, manufacturable, it's a really simple process. That's kind of our way to then get our numbers down with bras to get in there as well. That's our foot in the door.
One last comment, and we can turn it over to the crowd. Congratulations on making sales. That's the hardest thing for any startup to do, and you've proven that people value your product and they'll pay you cash for it. That's outstanding. It's a great start. However, one comment, I can see this being a lifestyle business. You're going to make enough money to produce the product and to sell it and make a little cash on the side. How do you get big? How do you scale? An investor is going to want to know that. It's a big market, but how do you get from where you are to addressing this market? It didn't come across in the presentation. That's something you might want to consider for next time.
Got time for one quick question from the audience.
How much is it? I didn't see it.
Sure.
If I went to your website, you bought just one.
Yeah, so we sell the 3 prints for $68, and the black, white, nude is $63. So we're not the highest, but we're higher end for sure.
You should have done that too. See how it was packaged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
thank you.